Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Kovacs here. Today in Mishnah Yomi land we finish Shevuot and start Eduyot. Right now we're holding in chapter 8 of Shevuot, Mishnah Vav. Heichan Shuri. Someone tells the borrower, "Where's my ox you borrowed?" Amar lo, he replies, "Eni yodeya ma'atasach." I don't know what you're talking about. V'hu shemet, but really the ox had died while the borrower had it, o nishbar, or became broken, o nishba, or was captured, o nignav, or was stolen, o avad, or was lost. Mashbiacha, the owner wants a shavua, amar amen, and he says amen to affirm the oath. Chayev, he's liable not only, of course, for restitution to pay the animal, but now he's liable for a chomesh, being an extra fifth, really 25% of the total value, plus to bring in carbon asham because he has violated his oath. And as we'll see in this time, the oath is trying to get him to be exempt from having to pay. And he swore falsely. That's why he's liable for the oath. Amar, if an owner said, lenose sachar, a paid guard, a socher, or a renter, heichan shuri, where's my ox? Amar lo, one of them replied, met, it died. V'husha nishbar, but actually it broke, o nishba, or was captured. Nishbar, the shomer says it was broken, v'husha met, o nishba, it was died or captured. Nishba was captured, v'husha met, o nishbar, but really it died or became permanently broken. Or he answers, nignav, it was stolen, v'husha avad, but really it got lost, or avad, he claims it was lost, v'husha nignav, in reality it was stolen. Mashbiacha ani, the owner wants an oath, amar ameni, affirms the oath, pater. He's putter on the oath. And that's because the first three cases of broken or died normally or captured, these shomrim, the renter and the paid shomer, are always exempt, unless it was, of course, their own negligence. And the last cases, avad, lost, or nignav, simply stolen by a regular everyday thief, that they would always pay. So claiming the opposite case wouldn't help them. The shvua wouldn't be effective. But how about this case? Met, o nishbar, they claim it died normally, or it was broken, o nishba, or captured. Vehu, but in reality, shenignav o avad, it was stolen or lost. Mashbiacha ani, the owner asks for an oath. Amar mein, he affirms the oath. Chayev, he would have to be chayiv not only to make restitution, but also on this false oath, this Shevuot Pikadon. Now, if he said avad, it was lost, o nignav, stolen, v'hu, but in reality, shemet, it died, o nishbar, was broken, o nishbar, was captured, mashbiachani, again, the owner asks for an oath, amar amen, pater. Here, he's pater on the oath because he's claiming that something worse happened, worse for him, the shomer, because he would have to pay in the cases of avad or nignav, of lost or stolen. He wouldn't have to pay in the case that really happened. Zayaklal, the Mishnah wraps up the general rule, kola mishane mechova lechova, somebody who pays. He's lying about what happened, but he would have to pay anyway, even if he admitted what happened, mitptor b'letptor, or cases where he would be exempt from paying, and he says it was a different case where he's exempt, umi b'tor lechova, or he would be exempt, but he's claiming something that would make him liable to pay, pater. He's not liable on the oath. There's no penalty for the Shevuot Pikadon here. But mechova liftor, chayev. If what really happened would make echova, would make him liable to pay, and he's making an oath falsely that something happened that would make him pater off the hook, chayev. He's liable not just for compensation of the animal, but also for his oath. Zayaklal, the Mishnah repeats, kol hanishba lahaklasmo, someone making a shvua to try to get a more lenient consequence, chayev. He's in trouble also for the oath, lahachmer atzmo, if he's being machmer to pay when he doesn't have to pay, pater. He's not liable for breach of the oath. Shar kochachem, mazel tov, onto Eduyot. Now we're going to see Eduyot is very different from other tractates in Shas. Eduyot means testimonies, and it has various topics because all of the statements made in Eduyot were actually made on one day. And this happened because of what the Gemara explains in Brachot, daf 28. There was a dispute with Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Gamliel. They decided that Rabbi Gamliel should step down as Rosh Yeshiva, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was appointed, and he let a lot more people into the base medrash. And because he let so many people in, a lot of the questions they had were resolved on that day by people testifying to certain halachic opinions that they had heard and knew about. So the Gemara in Brachos points out that the entire Masechta of Eduyot, all of these testimonies were actually recorded in the Beis Medrash and accepted as authoritative on that same day when they let in a lot of Talmidim. So sometimes Yagdil Rav Yadir, there is a good reason to let people in, of course, if they have something important and valid to say. And the first topic is about nidda. Nidda is blood that a woman sees every month, and it has consequences if she's preparing food, and that food has any degree of kedusha, like meiser and truma and the like. If there's a contamination from nidda, then that food becomes unusable. So the minhag was women, before they would start making lunch for their kohanic husbands or people who ate in tahara, in purity, they would check that there was no menstruation going on. Shammai omer kol nashim dayan shaitan. But Shammai says, for any woman, it's good enough that we say there's no impurity until she actually starts her period and she's actually impure. We don't assume there was a blood flow previously that rendered the food she already cooked to be problematic until she actually sees what's going on. The Hillel Omer, but Hillel disagrees, says, Mipekida lepekida. We have to assume back from the last time she checked for a nidda issue that she might have become nidda since that last time she actually inspected. Afilu liyamim harbe, even if it was 3 days ago that she last made sure there wasn't any sort of nidda issue, anything she cooked meanwhile, rabbinically at least, would be considered contaminated. Chachamim amrim, the sages said, lo kedivrei zeh v'lo kedivrei zeh. The halacha is not like either Hillel or Shammai, ela me'et le'et mema'etet al yedei pekida lepekida. Meaning a 24-hour time, 8 le'et, reduces the time from check to check. So if the last check was 2 days ago, we don't assume anything changed within the last 24 hours, the 8 late. And the Mishnah goes on, and if the last check was only 6 hours ago, for instance, then we know there was nothing problematic within the last 6 hours. And the Mishnah points out, on a practical level, kol isha sheyesh la veset, a woman who has a veset, that means a fixed cycle. She typically sees her period on the same day of the month or the same interval. There are different visatot, there are different ways to calculate this. Daya shaita. We don't assume there was any sort of contamination before she actually experiences the onset of her nidus. And the Mishnah notes, Mishemeshet be'edim, if a husband and wife were living together and she cleaned up afterwards and made sure there was no blood on the towel, Hare zo b'kedida. It counts as an inspection, even though perhaps it's more informal than an inspection she might do before she's preparing truma and meiser and coaching. And therefore, mima'etet al yedei ma'et la'et, al yedei mipekida mipekida. So even this more informal check, as long as there's no blood, then it reduces also the time that we might be concerned to extend backwards that she might have been impure and contaminated the food. Again, Mazel Tov, welcome to Eduyot. We're going to see a lot of different topics in Eduyot. It's a wild ride. Yeshar kochachem, tisku mitzvot.